He slammed the door so hard the walls shook. And that's when she realized she was trapped living with the one man who hated her more than anyone else in the world. Read the contract again, Ethan said coldly, tossing the papers onto the table without even looking at her. You don't get to back out. Lena's hands trembled as she stared at the signature at the bottom, hers. She hadn't just signed a lease. She had signed herself into a war. Just 48 hours earlier, she thought she had everything under control. A new job, a fresh start, a chance to finally escape her past mistakes. What she didn't expect was to walk into her new apartment and find Ethan Blake standing there. Her rival. Her enemy. The man who had destroyed her last career opportunity without a second thought. And now, somehow, they were forced to share the same space. There's been a mistake, Lena had said that day, her voice tight with disbelief. There hasn't, Ethan replied, calm and cruel. The landlord rented it to both of us. Non refundable. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months of waking up to the same face she couldn't stand. 6 months of pretending she didn't remember the way he humiliated her in front of an entire boardroom. 6 months of pretending her heart didn't race, not just with anger, every time he got too close. I'll stay out of your way, she said sharply, crossing her arms. Good, he replied. Because I don't want anything to do with you either. That was the deal. No emotions. No conversations unless necessary. No crossing boundaries. And definitely no romance. The first week was unbearable. They moved around each other like strangers forced into a tiny cage. Every small thing turned into a silent battle. Who used the kitchen first? Who controlled the thermostat? Who left the lights on? But the real tension wasn't in what they said. It was in what they didn't. Late at night, Lena would hear him pacing in the living room. Restless. Agitated. Not the calm, controlled man everyone thought he was. And sometimes she caught him looking at her. Not with hatred. With something else. Something she refused to name. One night, everything changed. A storm knocked out the power. The apartment went completely dark, the city lights outside swallowed by heavy rain. Lena hated storms. Always had. The thunder made her chest tighten. Memories she buried threatening to surface. She tried to ignore it. Tried to act strong. Until a loud crack of thunder made her flinch. And suddenly, the door to her room opened. Ethan stood there, his phone flashlight casting shadows across his face. You okay? He asked. She froze. That was the first time he had spoken to her without that edge of sarcasm. I'm fine, she said quickly. Another thunderclap. Louder. Closer. She wasn't fine. Ethan stepped inside anyway, setting his phone down. You don't look fine. I said I am. Silence stretched between them. Then softer this time, he said. You can sit in the living room. It's less loud there. She hesitated. This wasn't part of the deal. But neither was the way her heart was pounding. So she nodded. That night, they sat on opposite ends of the couch, the storm raging outside. No insults. No arguments. Just quiet. For the first time, it didn't feel like a battlefield. It felt almost safe. And that scared her more than anything. Days turned into weeks, and something shifted. They still argued. Still pushed each other's buttons. But the lines blurred. Ethan started bringing home coffee. Always her favorite, even though she never told him what it was. Lena caught herself laughing at something he said. Then immediately looking away. As if she had broken a rule. The tension changed. It wasn't just anger anymore. It was something heavier. Deeper. Dangerous. Then came the twist that shattered everything. One evening, Lena came home early and overheard a phone call. Ethan's voice. Low. Serious. I didn't have a choice, he said. If I didn't do it, she would have lost everything. Lena froze. She hates me now, he continued. But it was the only way to protect her. Her stomach dropped. Protect her? Her mind raced back to that day. The boardroom, the humiliation, the moment Ethan exposed her mistake in front of everyone. She thought he did it to destroy her. But what if? What if he did it to save her? Her hands shook as the truth started to unravel. That mistake? It wasn't just a small error. It could have ruined the entire company, and legally, it would have been traced back to her. She could have lost everything. Her career. Her reputation. Even her future. Ethan didn't destroy her. He took the fall for stopping something worse. And he let her hate him for it. When he turned around and saw her standing there, everything went still. How long have you been there? He asked quietly. Long enough, she whispered. For the first time, Ethan didn't have a comeback. Didn't have control. Why didn't you tell me? Her voice broke. Because you wouldn't have believed me, he said. And because it was easier if you hated me. Easier? She stepped closer, tears in her eyes. Do you have any idea what that did to me? Yes, he said, his voice rough. Because it destroyed me too. Silence. Heavy. Raw. Real. All the anger, all the resentment. It cracked open, revealing something neither of them could ignore anymore. Why? She asked, barely above a whisper. Ethan looked at her, really looked at her, like he had been holding this in for too long. Because I loved you, he said. The words hit harder than anything else. And I still do. Everything stopped. This wasn't part of the deal. It was never supposed to be. Lena's heart raced, every memory replaying in a new light. The way he looked at her. The way he knew her coffee. The way he stayed during the storm. It wasn't hate. It was love. Hidden behind the worst kind of sacrifice. Tears slipped down her face as she stepped closer. You don't get to decide how I feel, she said softly. You don't get to protect me by pushing me away. Ethan didn't move. Didn't breathe. So stop deciding for me, she whispered. And in that moment, all the walls between them finally fell. The rivalry. The anger. The pain. Gone. Replaced by something that had been there all along. Something real. Something undeniable. She reached for him first. And this time, he didn't pull away. Because sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who were trying to save you all along. And sometimes, love doesn't begin with a promise. It begins with a mistake. A misunderstanding. A war. But if you're lucky, it ends with the truth. In other words, she whispered against his chest, a faint smile breaking through her tears. I love you.